Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. I'm your host, Geoff at Willis, and each week I'll be talking fancy Premier League football. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Stitcher. Just search Captain's Pick, and we also feature on the YouTube channel Viltsy Podcasts. So look out for that, and please remember to subscribe, like and share. On today's show, I'll be looking back at Game Week 5, looking at my squad selection for this weekend, and discussing Game Week 6's fixtures, along with transfers and my captain's pick. So going back to last weekend, Game Week 5, I'll just go through my team and the points I scored. Pickford in goal, 1 point. No surprises there. No clean sheets so far this season. I'm going to wait 2 more game weeks to see if I can get a clean sheet. But in 2 weeks, I'm going to be transferring him out, probably for the Wolves goalkeeper or the Brighton goalkeeper. But I've just got too many moves I need to make before then, so he's going to have to stay in the team for another 2 weeks. Bertrand only got 1 point, and he's going to be transferred out this week. So managed to get a couple of clean sheets and a goal from him from his run in my team. So fairly happy with that. But it was always my plan to transfer him out in game week 6, probably for Ben Chilwell, the Leicester defender, because ahead of their good run of fixtures. Wan-Bissaka, 9 points, superb, got me a clean sheet and 3 bonus points. I actually had him in my team from the start. I know a lot of people, he came off their bench to replace Mendy, which was a bit of a double whammy because I didn't get Mendy play, and then as my rank dropped because a lot of people had Wan-Bissaka coming off their bench where I actually started him. So definitely picked the right time to start him. I was just a little unfortunate that so many people had him come off their bench, but that is FPL. I brought in Alonso, and obviously what happened, he blanked, just got the 2 points, no clean sheet, no attacking returns, and obviously I took a minus 4 point hit. Always going to happen, I think, when you go chasing points, but I just couldn't stand him not being in my team and watching the points come in for other people. So slight mistake there in hindsight, but I'm just glad he's in my team now. And Alexander-Arnold getting a clean sheet, 6 points, got very lucky. He got substituted in about the 89th minute when Liverpool was still on a clean sheet, and obviously they conceded a couple of minutes later, so that was quite nice. A little bit of luck going my way, and I think he's been a bit unfortunate the last few weeks, and especially in comparison to Robertson, who's been scoring points galore. So it was quite nice for us Alexander-Arnold owners to get one over the Robertson ones. Bernardo Silva, 3 points, just a clean sheet, 1 point bonus on top of his 2 points there. Disappointing, but if you see the game, he had a really good game, had lots of chances, created lots of chances that didn't get finished. He could have scored a hatful of points in that game, so disappointed. Still going to keep with him for 2 more game weeks, and then the plan is to downgrade him to perhaps Richarlison or Maddison. They're about $1 million cheaper when the City fixtures get a little bit more trickier, but he's got 2 more game weeks to try and claw back some points that he's missed out on over the last few. Salah blanked, again, if you watch the game, could have had a couple of goals, couple of assists. Mane should have put him through for one chance, so I still think he's getting the chances. Obviously he's expensive at 13 million to have in your team and not getting attacking returns, but I feel a hat-trick's coming hopefully in the next game or two. I've just got to keep him in my team and keep the faith. Lerma, my midfielder came in as a substitute for Mendy, who obviously wasn't in the Man City squad, just got me 2 points. And then my front three, Kane, 2 points. Disappointing. They were against a very good Liverpool side. He's now got 4 fixtures in a row now where he needs to score. Otherwise, he's definitely be getting cut from my team. It's last chance saloon for a 12.5 million forward. He's definitely got to do the business in the next few game weeks. Hopefully he does, because he'll be a little bit of a differential. Not too many people, especially in the top 1,000 teams, have him. I think he's owned by about 2% of the top 1,000 teams. So if he can get some points in the next few game weeks, that'll be a nice differential for me. Glad I kept Zaha in my team. Obviously, was fit in the end and started and scored. Bit annoying that he keeps picking up these yellow cards, but he's got another good 3 or 4 game week fixtures coming up. So definitely keeping him in my team, and hopefully his goal scoring continues. And he's got 3 and 4 now. It'd be nice if he could get on the sheet a couple of times in a game week, which would even be better. And then Aguero rounding off my team. Captained him, got 2 assists again. Could have got a couple more goals in that game. Came off slightly injured, which is disappointing. So I think he possibly could have matched Hazard's points haul from that game week. Still happy with his form at the moment. And as I said, Mendy dropped to my bench after he wasn't in the Man City squad. And I didn't miss out on any points on my bench. They all got zeros. And that was last week's game week. Final points of 49. Slightly disappointing. Was only 2 points above the average points in the game of 47. Though I was definitely on the wrong side of a few little calls there. Definitely could have seen myself getting an extra 15-20 points easily in that game week, and it wouldn't have looked bad at all. So just keeping the faith, and sometimes FPL game weeks go like this. My game week rank was 2.251 million. Obviously I didn't have Hazard, so that was an overall rank killer, and a game week rank killer. My overall points 305, and my overall rank dropping a couple 100,000 to 425,000. Again, want to be in that top 100,000, but I just think the last couple of game weeks have slightly gone against me. But looking at my team going into next week, I quite fancy a quite big haul. Again, just need to be on the right side of a few 50-50 calls and a few more clinical finishes from my midfield and attack. So, looking at my squad selection going into game week 6, Pickford in goal against Arsenal. Arsenal been pretty good attacking wise. Just hope some Everton can pull something out the bag there. He may not get a clean sheet, but if Arsenal are taking quite a lot of shots, that could be some save bonus points for me. So clutching at straws there, but that's all I've got really with Pickford so far this season. Starting with Wan-Bissaka, Newcastle at home, good fixture for Palace. Newcastle don't look very threatening up front, so clean sheet, hopefully there, and even some attacking points. If he plays like he did last week, he'll get bonus points as well, which will be good. Alexander-Arnold hopefully doesn't get rested. Did play in the Champions League game midweek, but they've got Carabao Cup mid next week, so I would have thought he'd be rested then. I know it's against Chelsea, but I'm sure Chelsea have put out a reserve team as well, so I expect him to feature and start, and he'll be rested midweek. They got Southampton at home, who haven't got Ings up front because he's facing his parent club. So without him, I'm definitely expecting a clean sheet from TAA, and hopefully one of his free kicks goes in as well for some attacking points. Currently I have Bertrand, who has got Liverpool away, but as I mentioned before, going into transfers, he'll be coming out, and I'll discuss those transfers in a bit. Alonso, West Ham away. Alonso played 66 minutes in the Europa League, so fairly sure he'll start against them. Historically, he's not been a great ground for us to go to, West Ham, but obviously they've changed ground in recent years, and West Ham haven't been very good at all this season, though they did pick up 3 points in their last game, so they'll have a bit more confidence, but just hoping for some points from him after taking that 4-point hit last week. If he does get a clean sheet and some attacking points, then that kind of wipes that out over a 2-game week period, so fingers crossed, come on Alonso. And I currently have Mendy in my starting back 5, but looking at hearing Pep Guardiola's press conference this afternoon, he said he's injured. Never totally sure whether to believe what managers say in their press conference before games, but pretty sure he won't start. But I'm going to just keep him in my team just in case, but it'll probably mean that Lerma, my Bournemouth midfielder, who've got Burnley away, will come into my midfield and make it a 4-3-3. And he's got Burnley away, so Burnley haven't been scoring too much, so might get a couple of points and maybe a clean sheet bonus in that game, but we'll just have to see. So currently a back 5 with 2 in midfield. Salah, who against Southampton at home, gotta think he's going to get some attacking points, praying that he gets some attacking points. I think he's been unlucky. I mean, he's still got attacking returns so far this season, but a couple of blanks in the last couple of game weeks. A big haul. If he doesn't, then it's definitely going to be tricky to keep him in the team. 13 million player who's not getting points is quite hard to justify being in the team, but I've got the faith. I think he'll do well against Southampton. And similar situation with Bernardo Silva, but obviously costs a lot less than Salah. He's got Cardiff away. Expect City to bounce back from their Champions League loss midweek and put up a good scoreline there. And I think I've got a gut feeling that hopefully he starts. You never know with Pep, of course, but I think he'll start and he'll got a gut feeling that he's going to get a goal and assist in that game, which would be what his form really would sort of reward me with some points there, because I think he has been in good form, but the points just haven't been coming yet. And then up front, top 3, Aguero, Cardiff away. Again, Aguero only played like 20 minutes midweek, so definitely think he'll start, and could be a couple of goals in that game for him, hopefully. Zaha, Newcastle at home. Newcastle been okay defensively, but on average been conceding 2 a game. That is against a lot of the top 6 sides they've played so far, but I fancy Zaha, definitely getting a couple of goals in that game. And then Kane, Brighton away. Brighton, who played Monday night, conceding a couple of goals. They were away from home, but that was only Southampton. Kane really needs to do the business, and feels like everyone's kind of weighing in a little bit on Kane at the moment, so I'm hoping that gives him that extra little motivation to get in some positions. Plus, Son's now back from the Asia Games, which I think Son occupies a lot of defence's attentions when he's playing alongside Kane, and if you play Son and Mora flanking Kane, then a lot of the defences can't just concentrate on Kane then, so I fancy him to actually bag a hat-trick this weekend and put a lot of the doubters down. If that all happens, then I think I'll be in for a decent points haul, but again, I could be on the end of a lot of missed opportunities and chances and have a very just ordinary game week. But if I am on the right side of a few of those assists and goals and clean sheets, then I definitely think I could be looking at quite a big points haul this week. Looking at the fixtures coming up in game week 6, Fulham at home to Watford. Mitrovic for Fulham could get a couple of goals there. I would like him in my team, especially for these sorts of fixtures, but just can't justify taking out Zaha at the moment. But I think if you've got Mitrovic in your team, you'll probably get some good points from this match. Burnley, Bournemouth. Burnley have been all over the place so far this season. Bournemouth being amazingly attacking, got lots of attacking points. Fraser looked amazing last week. But just knowing Bournemouth from the last few seasons, I could see them going away at Burnley and then Burnley going back to basics and grinding out a 0-0 draw, or even Burnley maybe nicking it 1-0. That's just sometimes the way the Premiership goes and FPL goes, but Bournemouth have been looking good attacking wise, but yeah, I'm not too sure that game. I've got a feeling that Burnley might pull something out. Man City away to Cardiff, already spoken about that a little bit, but expect Man City to go big. Similar with Crystal Palace at home to Newcastle. Fancy Palace in that game. Leicester, Huddersfield. Huddersfield haven't really looked too good going forward. Vardy's back now for Leicester. Obviously, they had a bit of a shocking game week last week at Bournemouth, who were bang in form. But I expect Leicester to get a few goals in that game. Fancy them for the win. Liverpool, Southampton, again spoken about them already. Could see this being 3-4-0 to Liverpool. Sorry, Saints fans, but I can only see one winner in that game, and hopefully that is a Mo Salah winner. Man United at home to Wolves. Wolves been playing excellent so far. Man United just starting to grind out a little bit of form. Good win away in Europe midweek, so could be quite a tight game there. Could be a draw actually, but Lukaku's been in good form. I think he's got 4 and 4, so potentially could nick that 1-0. Spurs away at Brighton. It's the late game on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. Fancy Spurs to come back from 3 defeats in a row, including that Champions League defeat midweek. Definitely see them bouncing back with a big win there. Otherwise, it's looking really dodgy for Spurs at the moment. Going into Sunday's games, Chelsea away at West Ham. I think this will be a tough game, a lot tougher than what a lot of people think. Being a Chelsea sport, I know we've had a few dodgy games over the years against West Ham, at West Ham. West Ham will be looking to carry on from their first 3 points of the season last week. Chelsea obviously winning 1-0 in the Europa League. Could be a little bit of fatigue and tiredness there, but Hazard was rested, so if he does go big, I'd love him in my team, but I just can't afford to have all the players. But if he does go big as a Chelsea supporter, I don't mind. I'm quite happy to see him do well in the team, even if he isn't in my FPL squad. So Chelsea maybe just, I think, could get that 1-0 maybe. Nick a 1-0 there, I think. Unless Alonso scores, and then maybe that'd be a 2-0. And then rounding up the fixtures, Arsenal at home to Everton. Expect Arsenal to definitely get a lot of shots on target here. Can't see Everton keeping a clean sheet. But Richarlison's back now, and Arsenal haven't been that great at the back either. So could be a 2-2 in that game, I think. Or even if Arsenal really click, then that could be a 3-2 Arsenal win, I think. So going to transfers, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be transferring Bertrand out, and as of Friday afternoon, as recording this, I'll be looking at Ben Chilwell of Leicester to come in. Exactly the same price, no minus points this week. Just really fancy Leicester's fixtures coming up. If I just go into their fixtures, so they have got Huddersfield at home, then they've got Newcastle away, Everton at home, Arsenal away again, a little bit dodgy there, but again, Arsenal haven't been great so far. But then you look at these next few fixtures: home to West Ham, away to Cardiff, home to Burnley, away to Brighton, home to Watford, away to Fulham, and then we get into December and Christmas time then. So that's a good 10 weeks there where I fancy them to get some clean sheets. And I think looked at Chilwell a couple of times so far this season. Seems fairly attackive, so I think he might bring in some attacking points as well, but really hoping for some clean sheets. Obviously, Mendy looks like he's out this weekend. Did look at potentially replacing him, but I just, until we get more information on how long he's been out for, I just don't think there's any point. I got him in at the start of the season, so I'm currently getting 6.2 million as a selling price. He's currently 6.5. That'll probably drop overnight to 6.4, but that doesn't matter because I'll still get 6.2. And then we'll have to assess the situation next week. But for the moment, he's going to have to stay in my team. So that probably means then a 4-3-3 going into this game week. Haven't really considered any other transfers, but definitely be looking at Kane, Bernardo Silva, Salah, and looking at how well they do this game week, because they're all on possible watch list, which would mean I'd probably activate a wild card in the next couple of weeks. If all of those blank in the next game week, that could trigger a wild card for me next week, especially if Hazard goes big. In terms of captain's pick, had a few choices really this game week. Aguero, Cardiff away. Fancy him to do the business in that match, along with Kane, Brighton away. But obviously Kane's not been in great form, so that would be a slight risk, but could be a good differential captain. But I'm going with Salah at home to Southampton. Kept him in the team this long, as obviously he's blanked in the last couple of matches, but this is why he's in my team, to captain him against the sides lower in the league, I should say. And he normally does well against the bottom sides, and can see him going big in this match. So he gets the armband for sure. But I could see him, Aguero, and Kane all scoring. Salah is my man. I've done quite well with my captain's picks so far this season. They've all returned good points. It's basically just been Salah to Aguero, back to Salah, then Aguero the last two game weeks. So I've managed to get my captain's picks calls correctly. So I'm hoping that form continues. Okay, so going to wrap up the show there. A reminder that game week 6 deadline is Saturday morning, 11:30. That's tomorrow, 22nd of September, Saturday, 11:30 a.m. You can find me tweeting FPL Gold on the podcast Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the show. And so from me, good luck with Game Week 6, and until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you. Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.